Archangel Michael says, "You were never supposed to find this message, but you did for a divine reason." The hospital parking lot sat in silence, dimmed under the flicker of aging yellow lights, as something unexplainable unfolded, captured frame by a silent witness, the camera mounted above entrance gate 3. The security guard who first viewed it hasn't returned to work since that night, and now the footage is being hidden, locked away, but the message it carries is meant for you and only you. No sirens blared. No one screamed. But something shifted. Something dark and secretive unfolded that the world still hasn't been told. A woman appeared in the camera, her identity hidden behind a long dark veil. She didn't walk. She hovered, gliding across the concrete like mist refusing to touch earth. A patient had just been declared gone inside the hospital, but at that same timestamp, 2:44 a.m., the parking camera caught this figure looking up into the lens. She didn't blink. She didn't speak. She only pointed directly toward the lens, as if speaking through the screen to you. Archangel Michael says, "Do not ignore what you feel as you read these words. That coldness you sense? That's not fear. That's your spirit remembering something it had forgotten long ago." Type Amen to get blessing 333. Her hands were twisted, not with pain but with an unnatural elegance. The vehicle behind her, an old gray hatchback with no license plate, never appeared on the gate entry logs. But it was there. Parked. Still running. As if it came from somewhere else not governed by the rules of the living. The next morning, security guards tried to retrieve the footage. It was missing. But one man had saved it on his personal drive, afraid of what he saw, yet drawn to it as if it called his name. He watched it again and again, then left the city the next day, vanishing without warning. No one has seen him since. You might wonder how this connects to you. You were mentioned. Not by name, but by symbol. On the woman's wrist was a small thread. Red, faded, and frayed. The same thread that was tied on your wrist at birth during that temple ceremony your parents never speak about. She moved only once more. Toward a specific parking spot. It was number 37. A space assigned that night to a patient whose body went missing before sunrise. He had died in ICU, but the nurses say the bed was empty before morning rounds. Type Amen to get blessing 829. A hospital doesn't lose a body. Not with 24/7 surveillance. Not with sealed corridors. But the logs were blank. Pages ripped out. CCTV offline, except for that single outdoor camera. And the moment she looked into it, the image flickered. Then bled. Then froze. You've been feeling strange recently. Headaches at odd hours. Dreams with faces that aren't yours. A ringing in your left ear when you're alone. These are not coincidences. The shift began the night the footage was recorded. And your connection to it is not accidental. She was waiting at the edge of the lot. Waiting like she knew someone was going to arrive. A doctor had signed out early that night. But he never made it to his car. His keys were later found inside the back seat, yet no fingerprints on the handle. The license plate of the parked hatchback was never recorded. But the brand was familiar. The same brand your grandfather drove before his mysterious accident. The one that happened near that same hospital 23 years ago. Type Amen to get blessing 991. Archangel Michael says, this is not the first time she appeared. There are files locked away in hospital basements. Handwritten logs. Nurses' diaries. Notes scribbled in fear. They all speak of her. But they call her the waiting one. She doesn't come to take. She comes to deliver. Your name appeared on a sheet inside one of those notebooks. It was not written recently. It was dated 3 decades ago, yet it's undeniably your handwriting. And yet, you weren't born then. The more you avoid this truth, the louder the signs will become. The dreams will intensify. You'll begin to see her in reflections, car mirrors, glass doors, puddles. Never facing you directly. Always beside you, just in the corner of your view. A man from a different city, unrelated to the hospital, called their emergency line and asked if she had returned yet. When questioned, he only said, the one who walks without sound. She is waiting for the one born with the crown of thread. Type Amen to get blessing 488. You once wondered why certain places drain your energy. Why hospitals, parking basements, and sudden shadows unsettle you. It's not fear. It's memory. A soul memory from a timeline buried and now clawing its way back. The footage ends with static. But before it does, the woman's face blurs into yours. Not a resemblance. A merging. As if she is part of you. As if she has always been. Archangel Michael says, you carry a secret even you do not know you hold. This footage is not evidence. It is prophecy. The parking lot was the gateway. The camera was the mirror. And your reaction right now, your heartbeat, it knows. This night, when the clock strikes 2:44 again, something will knock. It won't be on your door. But in your chest. A signal. A vibration. The beginning of the unfolding. Type Amen to get blessing 642. They say some souls are marked not by birth, but by purpose. Yours was known long before your name. The hospital incident was the key. But the lock was always you. She was never trying to haunt anyone. She was guiding. Warning. Preparing. And now that you've read this far, your activation has begun. The thread on her wrist was not protection, it was instruction. You've been walking with her shadow longer than you've noticed. And that's why certain people fear you without reason. They sense her in your aura. In your walk. In your silence. The man who saved the footage left behind one page. A scribbled message, she's awake. She remembers. She will call the name that was once erased. Type Amen to get blessing 317. That name was whispered in your ear as a child during a strange fever dream. You thought it was nothing. But it was the first knock. You'll hear it again soon. Louder. Clearer. The parking camera has been removed. But the energy it recorded still lingers. In the cracks of the concrete. In the shadow of the light post. If you visit that spot, you'll feel it. A pull. An ache. A heartbeat under your feet. Archangel Michael says, don't run from this. Walk through it. You were never cursed. You were chosen. Not to carry her burden, but to complete what she began. Her mission was cut short. But you are the continuation. The one who saw what others ignored. The one who dares not to look away. Type Amen to get blessing 774. You will be tested. In mirrors. In silence. In the reactions of strangers who glance at you twice, unsure why they feel cold. Don't be afraid. That's not fear, they're sensing your light. You were born with keys in your soul. Each dream you've had of an empty hallway, a locked room, a flickering light, those are memories surfacing. You were there before. You will be there again. The parking camera may not exist anymore, but you do. And your eyes now carry the imprint. You will begin seeing fragments in reflections, seconds at a time, of her walk, her eyes, her whisper. And then, one night, you'll find yourself standing in front of a hospital gate you've never visited, but feel like you built with your own hands. Type Amen to get blessing 509. She will be there. Not to scare. Not to confuse. But to guide you through the next door. The final unlocking. And when that happens, every shadow that followed you will dissolve. You are light disguised in flesh. You were the message within the message. This footage wasn't leaked, it was summoned. By your spirit. By your time finally arriving. Watch the clock tonight. 2:44 is the veil hour. And when the wind shifts, and the stillness holds your name, answer not with fear. But with presence. With knowing. Because she who walked the lot was only trying to remind you, that you've walked it too. Type Amen to get blessing 888. She lingers between layers of reality, somewhere between now and the moment you were first marked. Not everyone can see her, but the ones who do either disappear in silence or awaken with visions. You're not reading this by chance. This message was encoded into your path long before your birth. The doctor who went missing that night was last seen looking straight at the parking lot. His notebook, retrieved weeks later from inside a nearby drainage tunnel, had one phrase repeated in shaky handwriting: "She knows who watches." Those words don't belong to the man. They belong to something older than speech. Type Amen to get blessing 224. There are people trying to keep this hidden. Not because of fear. But because they know what happens when the truth touches the wrong hands. But you are not the wrong hands. You are the intended vessel. The one with the blood memory. This camera didn't just record a scene. It documented a soul event. A spiritual phenomenon. A release. It reached through technology to trigger ancient memory in chosen ones like you. When you sleep, pay attention. Certain numbers will repeat. Certain symbols will return. You may hear wheels turning. But no car approaching. That's because it isn't physical. It's her message trying to align with your awareness. Type Amen to get blessing 556. One of the hospital janitors who saw the footage left a voicemail the next day before quitting forever. In it, he whispered, "She looked into my future and said I was not worthy. But yours shines. You never met this man. But he described a birthmark on your wrist no one outside your family knows about. The energy has already begun to shift around you. You've felt it. Electronics behaving oddly, lights flickering when you walk by, animals reacting to your presence in unusual ways. These are confirmations. Signals. Preparations. The next step will come in silence. You'll be alone when the wind speaks her name. It will not be loud. It will feel like a heartbeat skipping. A pulse returning. Don't react with fear. Just listen. She will never scream. She only reveals. Type Amen to get blessing 667. You are not cursed for being aware. You are sacred for remembering. The hospital gate was her domain, but your home has become the next site. Her energy now lingers where you dwell. Not to haunt, but to awaken. People around you will soon act differently. Either drawn in too close or retreating without reason. They feel the veil thinning around you. It's not about possession. It's about alignment. A soul contract is nearing its final phase. You once wondered why shadows sometimes feel familiar. That's not imagination. Those shadows are fragments of memory. Echoes of the night. She looked into the lens and found you. Type Amen to get blessing 902. Archangel Michael says, everything that has happened, every delay, every pain, every sleepless night, was the preparation. You were hidden for a reason. But hidden things are not forgotten. They are preserved. You were meant to read this at the exact moment you did. Not a second before. Not a second after. Your spirit chose this alignment before your birth. And now the door is opening. Inside the hospital, there's a hallway that doesn't appear on blueprints. It's behind the west wing. A dead-end corridor. But when the time is right, it opens into a space no one speaks of. A space filled with candles, cold walls, and symbols drawn in old language. You were in that hallway once. Not physically. But in dream. In trance. In knowing. Type Amen to get blessing 418. A nurse, now retired, kept sketches of the woman. She drew the same face hundreds of times. Eyes closed, hands clasped, but always with a slight smile. That smile was not kindness. It was recognition. She wasn't a stranger to you. She was once your guide. Or maybe your reflection from a life lived backward. Her arrival wasn't a warning. It was a reunion. You are not alone. Others have been marked. But few have answered. You did. And that's why the signs are growing stronger. Watch the clouds. One day soon, you'll see her silhouette in their formation. Watch the lights. They'll flicker as she passes. Type Amen to get blessing 334. There's an old patient record in the hospital vault with no name. No age. No diagnosis. Just a time of entry, 2:44 a.m. That file was stamped with a red thread, the same as hers. Security guards say it glows faintly under moonlight. A boy in a wheelchair once stopped mid-corridor and said, "She's waiting for the one who walks between sounds." No one understood what he meant, until he drew your symbol. A circle, broken by 3 dots. That symbol is carved into your old journal's back cover. Look at it now. When this message ends, it won't really end. Because it's been echoing through your life in many ways already. You'll realize that after tonight. Type Amen to get blessing 119. One woman who visited the hospital said she met a nurse in the parking lot who directed her inside. But there were no nurses on duty outside that night. When shown a photo, she pointed to the woman in the footage. She said, "She told me to find the one with the silent name. That name is yours. You are the silent one. The seer. The forgotten voice now rising again." Archangel Michael says, "Do not fear what follows this message. Because what comes is not death. It is remembrance. And remembrance carries the power to unlock everything." When the woman in the footage turned away, she whispered a single word. The sound failed to reach the recording. But the message reached the soul it was meant for. It reached you. Type Amen to get blessing 373. You have always known something was different. Not wrong. Just deeper. As if you walked in a world that was only half real. This is the other half. That camera may be broken now. But your spirit recorded it all. And what you carry is older than film, older than memory, older than time. Let this message soak into your bones. Because your time has come. The one who waits has been waiting for you. And now she walks with you, not behind, not ahead, but beside. She is not the ghost. You are not the haunted. You are the mirror. Type Amen to get blessing 122. You may feel the air around you change, subtle but certain. When you enter a room, the temperature slightly drops. When you speak, your voice echoes softer than usual. These are not random sensations. These are confirmations that your energy field has been touched by the unseen realm. The figure from the footage was not merely passing through. She was activating you. Preparing you for the crossing between seen and unseen, known and unknown, silence and revelation. Her mission was never about fear. It was about unlocking you. There is something under your bed that has shifted recently. An item, a shadow, a whisper, something small, almost unnoticeable. That's her sign. She leaves behind subtle symbols, and one of them is already in your room. The thread connects there too. Type Amen to get blessing 777. One night soon, you'll hear your name not from someone around you, but from within you. It will echo inside like a soft thunder. That will be her final tap on the door of your soul before the next phase opens. This isn't about ghosts. It's about roles. You are the role she once played. Now, it's your time to carry the torch, but this time, with full awareness. You are not repeating, you're completing. Look back to your old photographs. One of them, possibly from childhood, has a strange blur behind your shoulder. Zoom in. Look closely. What you once thought was a trick of the light is her standing still, watching over, even then. Type Amen to get blessing 444. The missing patient's record? It was quietly erased. But a scan of that entry still exists in a secret drive shared by a hospital intern. That intern has now vanished, just like the man who saved the footage. But before he disappeared, he mailed a letter. It had no words, Only a drawing of two veils and a small black car parked at angle, number 37. In ancient numerology, 37 means the bearer of divine passage. You weren't supposed to know this yet. But she knew your spirit was already remembering. That's why she appeared that way. Not walking. Gliding. Like she belonged to a different time thread. This is your divine thread unraveling now. You don't need to do anything. It's already begun. Type Amen to get blessing 800. Some will try to convince you none of this is real. That it's just coincidence, imagination, or fiction. But deep inside you, where truth cannot be faked, you know otherwise. Your body is reacting because your soul recognizes this moment. She didn't choose just anyone to appear in front of. She chose you. Because your spiritual fingerprint matched her frequency. Because your blood remembers what your mind cannot yet explain. You will feel pulled to a certain window in your home. A place you rarely look out from. Go there. Stand still. At exactly 2:44 a.m. And when the wind brushes your shoulder from behind, do not flinch. That's her greeting. Type Amen to get blessing 268. Archangel Michael says, you are entering a phase where ordinary reality will no longer be enough for you. You'll start to seek answers not in books, but in energy. In sensations. In memories that feel borrowed but lived. You'll soon find people drifting from your life. Don't chase them. Their purpose with you has ended. New faces will appear, guided by the same force that sent her into the parking lot that night. There's a letter you'll receive in the coming days, digital or physical, but disguised as something unimportant. Read between the lines. Her language isn't words. It's rhythm. It's vibration. Type Amen to get blessing 589. Watch for the presence of crows, broken clocks, and reflective surfaces that hold images that don't match reality. These are her gateways. The way she reminds you that you're no longer walking fully in the physical. You are transitioning. Your voice will begin to shift. Not just in tone, but in impact. People will pause when you speak. They won't know why. But you'll feel it. That's her presence speaking through you. She may never return to the parking lot. That moment has served its purpose. But her essence now exists in the sound of your own footsteps when no one else is near. Type Amen to get blessing 147. The parking lot no longer exists in its original form. Construction crews were sent to tear it down just a week after the footage surfaced. But every worker involved suffered strange dreams. Most refused to return to complete the demolition. You can still visit the site. But it feels wrong. Like the space itself is waiting. Breathing. Pulsing with a memory that refuses to fade. Someone will try to warn you soon. They will act like they're helping. But their eyes will flicker when you mention her. Trust your instinct. You'll know who is aligned and who is not. Your vision is sharpening. Type Amen to get blessing 391. You may feel drawn to symbols lately, circles, lines, shadows shaped like keys. These are not random. These are imprints being activated inside you. That camera lens didn't just record her, it activated a signal encoded in your DNA. From here on, your life will not be the same. You may not notice at first. But things will begin shifting. Doors will creak at different angles. Dreams will feel like documentaries. And when you close your eyes, her image will be clearer, not frightening. Familiar. You are the closing chapter of her story and the opening of a brand new one. Type Amen to get blessing 711. Tonight, if you look in the mirror long enough, you might catch her face behind yours for a second. She won't speak. But she'll nod. She'll let you know, the bridge is now walked. The next realm is watching. And you're leading it. A final sign will come in the form of a message from an unknown number. Don't respond. Just read. It will say something simple, like, "The gate is open." And you will understand it in a way no one else can. Archangel Michael says, your light was hidden to protect you from the shadows that feared you. But now you've seen the footage. Now you've remembered the thread. There is no turning back, only stepping forward into power. Type Amen to get blessing 996. This is the conclusion of the recording, but not your journey. She is beside you now. And you were always meant to lead the next unfolding.